Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, August 16th. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm here at my home in Woodstock, New York. It's a beautiful day, and I'd hoped to go out and do some gardening, but I just didn't get around to it, maybe tonight. Anyway, today I'm going to be sharing with you an interview that I conducted last week when I was in my office in New York City with Matus Knoblich. And Matus is a very interesting guy. I'm sure that you'll enjoy that interview. But before we go to Matus, let's take a look at a couple of news stories that occurred in our online news. And I encourage you to go to our online news. First, you see here a story from our August magazine issue. And this is really a very interesting story. It's the advantages of third-party service in a COVID-19 world, and how it's important for the people who work in hospitals to be able to service the equipment themselves because it's hard for the OEMs to get there. It's an interesting story. You can agree or disagree, but it's worthwhile reading. Another story that has occurred, which is a really maybe exciting news, Cone Health and Centera Health Care are going to merge and become an $11.5 billion system. So that's all part of this consolidation effort. Check it out. You know, our news is free. It's interesting. You'll always be well informed. I encourage you to go there. Hello, everyone. And as promised, I'd like to welcome my good friend, Matus Knoblich, who is the CEO of MedStat and Glo-Med. Matus, welcome to Healthcare Business News.
Thank you for having us, Phil. Great to see you.
Now, Matus is here in New York City, lives in New York City, and works in New York City. And Matus, you have staff in New York City and in Florida, is that correct?
Yes, our business is split amongst the Northeast and the state of Florida. So we do work up here in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Central and Western Florida.
So in both places that are hotbeds right now, or have been and are?
It's been quite busy this year so far.
Now, I know during the pandemic, when New York was under tremendous stress, I reached out to you and you were stressed out. Tell me, what was an average, and MedStat is an outsourced biomedical firm. Is that a fair way to describe your company?
Correct.
So tell me about an average day in New York at the height of the crisis.
So when everything hit, it was really all hands on deck situation. We found that a lot of the hospitals were quite short on labor. When the crisis hit, a lot of the biomedical engineers in this industry, you have a lot of elderly gentlemen and individuals in the business. And when the crisis hit full swing, a lot of people either weren't coming into work because they were such high risk individuals for contracting and falling very ill to the virus. And some of them either weren't coming into work or as a result entered into early retirement. So we had a situation where on an already strained system where you needed everybody at work every single day, the hospitals were already in a labor shortage situation. So a lot of our partnering hospitals reached out to us and asked us how much we could provide to them in terms of resources. So a typical day would, and again, this was for all staff, it was an all hands on deck situation from early March. Typical day started about 6 a.m., get out the door as soon as possible, getting to the hospital between 6 and 6:30. Once you get into the hospital, obviously we had all the protective measures with the PPE, make sure everybody got gowned up, set up right, and really finding out what the most critical situation was, whether it was setting up ventilators, getting from existing equipment that was on site, locating it, finding out where it was, getting it to the right channels, making sure it was maintained and ready to go so we can get it immediately into ICUs and patient rooms. We also had, because there was such a shortfall on medical equipment, A lot of the hospitals had to resort in getting rental equipment. Rental market dried up very quickly, so they started buying new equipment. But then we had a big issue where we couldn't get drivers to bring the equipment into New York. Nobody wanted to come into New York. Obviously, this is in the early days of the virus in March. Nobody really knew what they were dealing with. So we had a lot of drivers and logistics companies who either were charging extravagant rates to get it into New York or just not delivering into New York at all. So we had, in certain scenarios, we'd go into New Jersey or Connecticut or upstate New York and meet the drivers, unload the trucks from their trucks, load it into our trucks, and then deliver it to the hospitals in the New York City area. So a lot of out-of-box thinking, trying to figure out how to solve the logistical aspect. And then there was the component and equipment disposables aspect where, for example, we couldn't get the right tubing or the right disposable or consumable items to go with the equipment. So we have to start thinking outside of the box. Can we use a consumable from one piece of equipment from a different manufacturer, different model? Would it fit onto this model? Because we don't have anything else to fit on right now, and we need that equipment operating and functioning. So a lot of really out of the box thinking, figuring out how we can, in a way, jimmy rig things. And really what I found fascinating was it brought it right back to the nature of what biomedical engineering is, which is finding medical device solutions to equip patient needs.
Well, you must, and when did your day end?
So yeah, usually it was a 6 a.m. out the door. I got home between midnight and 1. Obviously, there was a whole process too you had to undertake because you don't have just yourself to worry about. The big issue was the families at home. So we had a whole process in play for our staff. You basically went into a side entrance at the house, or if you're at an apartment, you were told to disrobe before you went into your house, making sure all the clothing and everything from the hospital, you stayed outside before you entered the home. Obviously, you underwent a full cleaning process with yourself, and then you had the Clorox wipes or whatever sort of disinfectant spray that you'd want to get your shoes, your keys, your money, credit cards, pens, belt buckle, whatever you had with you that wasn't going right into the wash, you had to make sure it was cleaned right away. So again, that process took another 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many items you had on you. And then into bed and 5-6 hours of sleep and right back at it the next day.
Well, forgive the joke, but I'm glad you're not laundering any money. So I certainly commend you for that hard work, and it must have given you a great feeling of satisfaction to be able to contribute in that way.
I think really my staff deserves all the praise. I mean, it was 7 days a week. I had some guys who worked over 30 days straight, just because we understood the need and the impact that if you didn't go to work, it wasn't that you weren't going to work or not getting paid that day. People's lives were being lost because certain pieces of equipment that we were certified and trained in repairing and getting up and running might not be operational if we didn't go to work. And really, the whole staff understood this and sacrificed themselves and really put their lives at risk on a daily basis. And I really have to commend the team. The team in New York stepped above and beyond, and now the team in Florida, with what they're dealing with right now with the high surge down there, they're dealing with this right now. So everyone's really been all hands on deck, breaking their back for patients.
Well, I've met your mother and father, and I'm sure they're very proud of you for the work that you're doing. And your dad was in this business as well, so he understands what it's like. An interesting, that is all about your MedStat business. And it's interesting because you also offer or have the Glo-Med business. And that could not be more timely because for the Glo-Med business, you are importing, and as a matter of fact, using our website to sell a personal hand sanitizer or personal sanitizer product. Can you tell us about that and show that to us?
Sure. So About 3 years ago, a friend of mine introduced a product he had invented, and we were in discussions and planning all the logistical details for importing this into the US. It's called the Orbel hand sanitizer. This is the package it comes in. Wrapper here.
Right.
This is what it looks like. So we've got a protective clip on the front.
And it has 6 little wheels, or 8 little wheels, and as you rub your hand over the wheels, what happens?
Basically, it really runs on a patented rollerball system. So we have a 72% ethyl alcohol solution on the inside, 72%, which is slightly higher than some of our competitors. So we've got a very high germ killing efficacy, about 99.9%. The product functions by when you press forward, you clip it on. Just for the sake of this, I'm going to clip it on my.
Just stand up and clip it on your belt.
Typically, we'd have it clipped. You have it clipped right on your belt.
Right.
And then when you just press your hand and roll it, it releases the solution. So it's a single hand activation. You don't have any caps to open up, anything where you need 2 hands. You just clip it on, and when you press down on the product and rub your hand over it, you're releasing solution through the roller balls, and the pressure is being activated because this is a soft pouch in the back. So you're pressing back, the solution is being pressed forward, but the balls keep it in place, and when you press down and roll your hand on the balls, then the solution is released.
Yeah, it's a really simple, no-brainer design.
Yeah, it's a great product. We've had great success in the United States so far, and Central Western Africa, and really the Middle East. Those have been our strongest markets for the product. We're going to be launching it in Europe very soon, and other markets as well, as you are aware, and helping us with that. But the great thing about this product is it's highly efficient, so you're only releasing as much gel as you need. So for example, you'll rub your hand on it once, twice, 3 times. Again, every person's different. Everyone's got different size hands, and everybody presses down at a different pressure. So that's how much volume is released. But it's efficient because you only rub your hand on it until you know and you feel you've got the perfect amount of hand sanitizer. And then you just rub it into your hands. Got a nice fragrance and moisturizer. So we actually imported this product in October, completely unrelated to COVID. We had our first batch. We presented at the ANA ANCC Nursing Magnet down in Orlando in October, and I believe we saw each other down there as well. And just the timing was purely coincidental, and now we've ramped up production and we're shipping all throughout the United States. You're one of our trusted.
So you were at the right place at the right time with the right product.
I was at the right place with the right product. I would say at the wrong time because, again, nobody really wants to profit off of tragedy.
Yes, yes, I understand. But in some ways, what you offer helps people. So, and you didn't raise your rates as a result of the.
We actually have a standard rate. We kept the rate the same for the product. I don't know if, again, we put this on all of our employees the day COVID hit. Actually before COVID hit, because we wanted to advertise and market the product. So my guys have been using this. My entire team has been using this every single day, every single facility, and I'm happy to say.
You know, I use it also.
We've had.
I'm not just I'm like the hair clip for men, you know. Anyway, I also use it.
Well, Phil, none of my staff has come down with COVID. No one's been out sick with it yet. So obviously we take great protective measures, but I'm sure that the Orbel hand sanitizer has definitely played a role.
Oh. Well, Matus, I know you personally, and I know that you're an honorable and caring guy and a good family man. And I wish you luck, and I thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me, Phil, and all the best to you and your family.